What's up? Hey, hello everyone. Wow, so today we are back going to be talking about Survivor season 49, episode 7, the merge episode, and a real merge at that. So, my name is Rachel.
I'm Alyssa, and I feel like the most exciting thing so far this season has been that there was no mergatory. Like the preseason was, or the pre-merge was a little, but then no mergatory. Let's go! I love that.
I feel like we have Jake to thank. If he didn't get bit by the snake, it said that they would have done a regular, like, mergatory vote here. So, yeah, good thing the snake bit him. So then we would have a regular merge here. And hopefully, from like the fan reaction, maybe they'll do that for 51 since 50 has already been filmed. But I feel like let's go back to regular merge.
Yeah, but I also feel like fans have been saying that they want a regular merge since the first time they did mergatory, and so I don't think fan reaction is really something they're tuned into because I feel like fans have been saying for forever that they want a regular merge. So
I guess we can hope and people can message and we can hope and pray for 51 if it doesn't happen on 50.
someone start a hashtag.
So we start this episode off seeing that Steven, Sage, and Jawan actually bonded with last week's episode, voting Shannon out. Last week we weren't really sure where Jawan's head was at. We're like, okay, Jawan maybe realizes he's on the bottom of red team here. Maybe he's faking it for the cameras. A little bit hard to tell, but we got confirmation this week that Jawan knows this and he will flip on red.
Which I am very happy about considering, like I said yesterday, Jesus, last podcast, I feel like it definitely is in his best interest to flip on red. And I also feel like this kind of supports what we've said for a really long time, that tribes that go to tribal council have stronger alliances than tribes that don't, because they like get through having to like vote each other out, and they build trust together like that. And I feel like that's also how you figure out your place. If you're like swapping tribes, you figure out like, oh, where am I in relation to other tribe mates based on how you vote when you're actually voting.
Exactly. So Steven, Sage, Jawan, they create the Bottoms Up Alliance. One, I think the first named alliance we got this season. Seems like they are actually close and maybe could be a powerful threesome going into the merge. Um, and they get the note saying, "Oh, these other people, it's merge time. They're going to come to your beach." And then they're like, "Oh, no." I thought it was really funny.
I thought it was really funny too.
Yeah, so they were nervous how people would react that seeing Shannon's gone and Steven is being there. I thought it was also smart before everyone else came that they got their story straight. So to me, all of this like points to they're actually in an alliance together rather than like, okay, three people that just voted together last week.
Yeah. And getting your story straight before they need to be straight is a great way to not draw suspicion to yourself. So I feel like that, good on all of them. And I think also good on all of them for sticking to their story, because I was kind of worried when they got their story straight that people were gonna like maybe flip on each other if it became convenient, but that ended up not really happening.
Yeah, I feel like really good for these three, and they're the swing this episode. Created this blind side that we see at the end of the episode. But we get to this new merge beach. It is so wild. Everyone else is on the beach hugging, cheering, and then Steven, Sage, and Jawan are literally hiding in the shelter, which I was like, oh my gosh, this is so awkward. I wonder if everyone down there were like actively wondering, like we hear them say, like, where is everyone? What did they say when they came out? Like, sorry, we were at the well, we didn't hear you. Like, so awkward to give them a few minutes alone.
Yeah, I think it would have been funny if they had like pretended to just be like, I don't know, like sweeping at camp, even though they don't have a broom. Like be doing some sort of chore that is obviously not a chore to assert your dominance.
I'd be like, yeah, where are those three? Why are they hiding? And then seeing that Shannon is gone, Ooh, then I'd be like red flags going up a little bit. But it seemed like everyone believed the Shannon story that Shannon became super paranoid. Shannon was throwing people under the bus, and they are throwing Shannon totally under the bus here, which I thought was really smart. Like, this is a lie that potentially could be very believable. It's also something you can't fact check because Shannon's not even on the jury. You can't go pre-jury now and go ask her if it's true or not, if she did go paranoia on everyone and throw people's secrets around. So I thought this was a really good thing to fact check. Like, not fact checkable compared to lying and say, like, Steven played an idol or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say anything that is not fact checkable, I feel like is better. I feel like if I were a Survivor player, the non fact checkable things would be the ones that I'm most skeptical about, just because I believe in trust but verify. But I also understand, like, what are you going to do? It's not like you can like phone Shannon and be like, so what's the tea? Especially if everyone who was on that tribe is united and being like, yep, this is the story.
And it does seem like even during the second swap tribe that maybe they got the other yellows to get in on this plan too, because apparently last week when we saw MC tell Rizzo that Sage told everyone about the idol, MC posted online that she actually said it was Shannon and they like dubbed it in to say it was Sage that told everyone. So maybe this was a big plan amongst the second swap tribe to throw Shannon under the bus even before the threesome of the Bottoms Up Alliance created this second like lie about Shannon, which if that's the case, like this is an ongoing, really long lie to throw Shannon under the bus, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah. Though again, I have to say I hate it when the editors like switch things around, even if it does make the storyline more coherent. Stop lying to me. So
Yeah, I want to know how long this plan was in like cahoots between everyone. Did they think of it? Like when did they think of it? And everyone's just in on it to throw Shannon under the bus. So it sort of does suck for Shannon probably like watching it back and then seeing that her name is getting smeared.
yeah. But I think based on Shannon's social media, it seems like she's been taking it relatively well.
So it seemed like everyone believed the Shannon lies here. Nobody we saw suspected it really that we see. So I wonder, did people suspect it a little red flags going off, or did everyone truly believe this?
I feel like everyone truly believed it because if there were any red flags, I feel like that would be important to the storyline. But who can say? Not I.
I agree. I think if there were red flags, they were small enough that Rizzo didn't play the idol, which then I think goes to show like how good Sage and Jawan were with acting that they still liked the old Red. So I was like, that's really good for them. You convinced everyone that you were still like five strong with the OG Reds. So I was like, this is like Kyle and Camilla, but opposite now.
Yeah, I do think part of it is like other people's perception of you as well. Like I feel like people weren't necessarily like, oh, Sage and Jawan are like strategic masterminds. And so like if you don't expect someone to double cross you or if you don't think they're smart enough to double cross you, then you're maybe not going to be as paranoid than like if you know that they are sneaky.
Yeah, and then maybe that also goes to show that Sage and Juwan are good at sort of like lessening their threat level in terms of how threatening they come off. Because I agree, if they think that you're just like, yeah, these are my little followers, they've got no minds of their own, they would never like double cross us like you said, then you wouldn't even be worried if they're lying to you because they're like, okay, these are my little minions, they're not going to do anything bad to me.
Yeah, they don't have enough brain power to do anything bad to me.
Yeah, so we get to the key challenge. Everyone has to run around in the jungle, and then you have to find the one pair of keys that opens the chest in order to gain an advantage in the challenge. Savannah was the person to read out this clue, which I really felt like when she was reading out the clue before the start of the key challenge, it was very announcer voice, and I wonder if people picked up on that.
Yeah, that was very funny. I liked that. I also liked that Jawan took his time putting on his shoes.
Yeah, you don't want to step on a pointy stick or something and then get medevaced.
You
But
don't want a sea snake to bite you in the foot.
yeah, in the woods, they're evolving.
Exactly.
So Sage wins this challenge here, so good for her. We also see Alex and Sophie reconnect. They voted differently during this vote at the end of this episode, and we also see Alex saying that he wants to play in the middle and not pick a side. I will be interested to see, like, okay, are they really close or are they like not so close anymore now that Sophie is with red and Alex is more with yellow? Will they reconnect or not? Are they just faking this distance between them to not be threats? I feel like their relationship will be interesting to follow.
Yeah, I also feel like Alex's strategy will be interesting to follow because I feel like people who say, "Oh, I want to play in the middle," very rarely are actually as middle as they think they are, and I feel like it also very rarely actually works out well, but we'll have to see on that one as well.
True. If Alex wants to play the middle, maybe you vote with yellow once more, but then maybe you try to flip to Sophie's side and go with red, just like ping pong back and forth in there. But also, if you are truly in the middle, the two sides might come together and be like, this person is playing both of us. So let's try to vote that person out in the middle. I think it would be interesting if Alex and Sophie are like secretly really, really tight and feeding each other information, but we didn't see that this episode.
Yeah. So it could also be that they're tight, but it wasn't worth showing us the information because then they didn't end up voting together. So yeah, it's always hard to tell what has been creatively edited and then what is the actual truth.
That's true. So I'm interested to see where their relationship goes over the next few episodes.
For sure.
So we also see Savannah really wants to kill a chicken. She was naming them. And then it's sort of what we said last time. The other people on this beach should have killed all the chickens, eat them all before merge. Now you're feeding everyone. And then we had to watch another chicken die, which was sad.
Yeah, it was very sad. I will say the names that they gave the chickens were really funny.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I don't want to see another chicken dying.
It was interesting the difference in the way that the two chicken deaths were framed, though. Like the whole life is beautiful thing that Alex got versus what Savannah got.
That's true. The first chicken killing was like, "Oh, okay, this is like you have to kill it for food and sustenance." This one sort of makes Savannah look a little bit like too eager to go and kill the chicken when she like picks up the machete and then wants to cut its neck. It was just like, I guess, yeah, very, very opposite of the first one, which was like a friendly killing.
Yeah. The editing of Savannah is so interesting to me, just in general, because they kind of seem to make her seem ruthless, but also she's kind of funny about it.
I agree, which when we get to the end of this podcast episode, I think we can talk more about it, but I think it is very interesting. Like last week we said, okay, Savannah got some like negative villainy kind of edit. This week when we get to the idol hunting too, it's sort of like, yeah, she is very like gung ho about getting advantages, very like cutthroat player.
Yeah, but I love me a good villain.
Yeah, so we get to the immunity challenge, and Jeff starts this off with a mat chat, and he asks because now we have two Sophies on the team. He's like, okay, what do you two want to be called? Blue Sophie says yellow and blue. Yellow Sophie jumps right in and says, Soph and Sophie, pointing Soph to Blue Sophie, Sophie to herself, Yellow Sophie. I was like, oof, this is a little bit bad. Unless you talked about it beforehand, I feel like you can't just give yourself your full name, Sophie. You need to give yourself the new nickname of Soph.
I will say, according to Blue Sophie, she had been going by Soph quite a bit like in the game already. And so if blue Sophie was going by Soph and yellow Sophie wasn't going by Soph, I feel like it does make sense to be like, oh, you have this nickname that's really convenient to use. And I feel like blue Sophie and yellow Sophie will get confusing after you merge, because then like you're not blue Sophie and yellow Sophie anymore. I personally was a little bit sad that they didn't do anything with the fact that one of them has an E and one of them doesn't. Like you could be like Soph E and Soph I or something. They could workshop.
I feel like it's just funny now because there's so many memes online doing the Soph versus Sophie, then just like giving them random nicknames. So I thought that was very funny in the aftermath. I saw Sophie with an I is real, Blue Sophie is real, saying that, yeah, at first she wasn't really happy with it given her face and going by Soph out there. And I feel like low key, I would vote yellow Sophie out for this. I'd be like, I want to be the only Sophie here. And once you vote yellow Sophie out, you get the name back. And to me, Soph, when Jeff says it, sounds like soap. I'm like, I can't really hear what name he's saying.
Yeah, I just in general, I'm kind of like, do we have to cast two people with the same name on the same season? Like, I'm sure that there were more than 20 people that they liked. You could just cast, like, save one of them for 51. Like, make it easier on everyone. There are so many names in the world, you know?
True. Or I'd be like, I'd go by middle name or something. So that doesn't like conflict with someone else because I agree. I don't know. I wouldn't want people to be like, okay, let's vote out Sophie. And then you're like, which one? And then it's just like your name is technically in people's mouths, even though it's the other one.
Yeah, and I feel like when reading the votes, if either Soph or Sophie got votes, I, as Jeff Probst, would still want to be like, okay, if you want to vote for Soph, vote Soph. Because I feel like that would just be too, as either Soph or Sophie, I would be a little bit scared that, like, oh, someone voted Sophie when really they meant to vote Soph or vice versa.
Imagine if they like are both going for each other, then it's like a 4-4 vote. And then you're like, no, I misspelled my Soph's name. I voted for the wrong one.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I don't know. If I had a duplicate name, I'd be like, let's vote that other one out.
yeah. But then you have to be careful to make sure they're voted out without incriminating you.
True. So Jeff also says on the Matt chats that there are still some spots open for Survivor season 50, which seems like it's making people act bolder this season, which is maybe a good thing. I feel like people are like sort of mixed feelings about this.
Yeah, I feel like I am definitely one of the people with mixed feelings.
How do you feel?
I just told you I feel mixed.
What's the positive and negative?
Great question. I'll get back to you on that because
Yeah.
I haven't like articulated it. I just know that like I feel some sort of way, you know?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I guess for me, it's like I haven't thought about it too much. It's like, okay, it's in the past, so I haven't really like thought too deeply about it, but I can definitely see like the goods and bads for it. I wonder if they were like, oh, this season's like not that interesting, so let's tell them this and make people act more hectic. So then, like, in the hopes that they're going to be brought back for 50, because who wouldn't want to be brought back for 50?
Yeah, I feel like for me, I mentioned this last week, but like I don't like the idea of Jeff Probst having any sort of like influence on the game. Like I feel weird like when he makes comments in immunity challenges that influence the game, and I feel weird when he makes very pointed questions at tribal that influence the game. And so this idea of like him trying to influence the game in a certain way is like I'm not sure about that, especially because for some players it is the smarter move to be boring, you know?
That's valid. Yeah, it's sort of like, okay, I am going to, I guess, play to lose, but I'm actually playing to win because I'll be on 50.
Yeah.
So, for this first part of the challenge, we have two groups of five in order to earn the merge feast. And then you have to get the big boulder through all of these different obstacles, do a puzzle at the end. And for this one, you win the food. And then these people that win this, they get to go and compete in the individual immunity portion of the challenge. Sage, who won the key challenge advantage, she gets to skip the first part of this challenge and go straight to the second part. I feel like the challenges this episode, since we had two back to back, were sort of long and like not that interesting.
Yeah, they were long, not that interesting, and all the potential parts that could have been interesting didn't happen.
Yeah, I was like, okay, the puzzle was really close at the end of the first one. That was interesting. I thought it was interesting that Blue originally sucked at puzzles, but then we see Alex and Blue Sophie were the two that got the word puzzle. But yeah, I was like, the only cool part was them being so close at the end there.
Yeah. But the puzzle, we always say,
Great
is an
equalizer.
equalizer. I was waiting for you to say it, and then you didn't.
We were on the same wavelength at the end, though.
Hmm.
But yellow team, they win the merge feast. So that is both Sophie's, Nate, Steven, and Rizzo. Then we get to the second part of this challenge for immunity, where you have to balance the ball on a pole. We actually did this challenge on our channel. We did a DIY ball balancing challenge. So I think we'd be pretty good at this.
Would we, though? Because, as I
Yeah,
recall, neither of us did that well at the ball balancing challenge.
I think we did well. Like we were doing it on one foot too. I'd have to rewatch the video, but I think we did fine. One foot is
Okay.
different from balance beam, but yeah.
Well, also, different conditions.
That's also true. So Rizzo gets out first, and then it's down to Sophie and Steven here. People, they wanted to vote Sophie out pre-immunity challenge, so obviously Sophie here has to win the immunity challenge because that is what always happens with the edit. I just was sort of bummed out that multiple people are like, oh yeah, let's vote yellow Sophie out. She's such a big threat, but like we don't know anything about her. Like, why is she such a big threat? I wish we got some more information because pre-immunity, when everyone was like, yeah, let's vote her out, I was like, okay, great. This makes a lot of sense. Last week we thought Sophie or Christina were going home because they haven't gotten much screen time. So it's like, cool, Sophie's going. And then she wins immunity and like everyone's threatened by her.
Yeah, which is, like you said, if she's going to go home because she's a big threat, I wish they had shown us that she was a big threat instead of just telling us. Like, it doesn't make sense. And it makes me feel like she's going to get knocked out in a stupid way if she's such a big threat, but they're never going to show us that.
Yeah, like if there is actually like the split tribal council next week, maybe she goes out there. But I agree, it'd be so easy to just show us something that she does that's threatening. Like they just do it so easily, like, ah, this person's looking for idols. That's threatening. Is it because she's athletic and she won an immunity challenge now? That's threatening. Is she talking to a bunch of people? Like, even on OG Yellow, Matt wanted to vote Sophie out too. So, like, what vibes is she giving off that people don't want to keep her around?
I don't know. And it's especially frustrating because I feel like with the 90-minute episodes, there have been some episodes that have felt like there was more filler and there was space for them to have shown something threatening. Sophie did.
Yeah, so just sort of confusing there. Everyone wants to target her, but we don't really know why. Maybe next week we'll learn some more things about her because now she's got screen time. You just have to go and win the first immunity challenge of the season in order to give yourself some screen time.
Yeah. Maybe they want people to learn her name so that if they hear people talking about Sophie, they know that it's different from Soph.
Then it's also like if you had two Sophies, why not make one go by a nickname to start? Or are you just assuming both of them won't make it to the merge and it's fine to have two Sophies, or they both won't be on a tribe swap together? Like you could have had one of them go by a nickname to start with.
Yeah, they should have had one of them go by the nickname to start with.
Because now it's like Blue Sophie got a ton of screen time, so everyone knows her. But then now Yellow Sophie is like the Sophie Sophie.
Yeah, Yellow Sophie, Blue Sophie feels like she should be the Alpha Sophie because we have viewers have seen so much more of her. But now Yellow Sophie is the Alpha Sophie.
Yeah, it should be Alpha Sophie, Beta Sophie. You don't want to be the Beta Sophie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you could do what The Bachelor does, Sophie S, Sophie B, maybe. Or you're like, okay, yeah, or just one goes by the last name, middle name, different nickname.
Go by literally anything.
Yeah. So we, after the challenge, now that MC has lost the challenge, she goes to look for the idol so she can get her vote back. I felt like it was very smart of Savannah. It seemed like Savannah just followed MC around and then walked up on MC with the clue in her mouth while MC was looking for the keys. I was like, okay, this is good of Savannah. Usually we're like, why are you letting people go off alone when those are the people that you want to vote out? So following her around was good. And then it was just really awkward between them.
Yeah, I feel like following people around is good, but I also feel so bad for the person who is being followed because it's like it doesn't feel good to be babysat as a full grown adult, especially knowing the reason you're being babysat. And then it's like, what do you even do? Like, this person doesn't want to work with you or they wouldn't be babysitting you. And so it makes it like weird.
I agree. It's very much like Saul and Rome, or even Say and Mary. Although I feel like those two were way worse because they were literally following the people around. This was like, seemed like Savannah went to go look for MC and walked up on her doing suspicious stuff. So I feel like this is less sort of sad for the person being followed.
Yeah, I feel like Rome was also just annoying, and Savannah wasn't being annoying; she was being strategic.
So then we get to the best scene of the episode. The camera didn't even get a good shot of what happened. Like the camera is zooming in on the keys on the ground. We see MC bend down like to try to grab the keys, and then Savannah just like lunging in from the side. You know, you can see her whole body just like flying into the frame. I was like, this is so funny. They should have wrestled for the keys.
They should have wrestled for the keys. I feel like they probably have some sort of like physical contact rule, though.
Probably. Whoever's hand is on it first probably gets it because you wouldn't want like, I don't know, on all those like Black Friday ads of people fighting over like clothes or purses and then they're like pulling it back and forth like that. I feel like you can't have that.
Yeah, you cannot have that.
But this was so funny. The camera didn't even get a super good shot of it. And I was like MC said, it doesn't hurt to try. Good for Savannah for trying.
Yeah, good for her for trying. Better to try and fail than not try at all.
Yeah. Although maybe saying, "Hey, girl, I want to work with you," and then lunging to try to steal whatever it is. You don't even know what it is that she's looking for. Maybe not the best look, but I was like, this is going to get you on. Jeff said, do stuff for 50. Savannah's like, great, I'm going to start lunging at people's keys.
I mean, I feel like Savannah also like doesn't care about being a villain, it seems like. And I feel like that's again kind of villain-esque behavior that is fun.
That's why maybe her and Sophie, Blue Sophie, get along so well because we saw Blue Sophie wanted to steal the clues right out from under Alex. Here, Savannah wants to try to steal MC's clues right out from under her. So if Savannah did get to the keys first, it seems like she could have like hidden the keys, threw the keys in the ocean, just like sat on the keys. Like the keys are hers. MC can't steal the keys back from her. That I think that would prevent MC from opening that box to get the idol. So MC would have continued to lose her vote. So you probably couldn't steal the idol for herself because MC had the Beware advantage. But if Savannah did get the keys, it seems like she could have prevented MC from getting the idol, which I thought that would be very interesting to watch.
I think that would be interesting to watch, but I also, as production, I wouldn't want someone to be able to steal someone else's vote for forever, you know?
Yeah, that would be crazy. And then I feel like you need in the rules, it's like, okay, I guess like the Beware advantage is dead, it's invalid, you should get your vote back.
Or maybe they hide a new set of keys, and if you can steal every set of keys, then
True. So MC does get the keys though, so we don't get to know what happens if Savannah got to the keys first. Would love to know the rules here and what you can and can't do. Then Savannah is trying to talk to MC while MC is flipping through the 100 keys on this key ring. And MC or Savannah sort of making things awkward. It's like, "Can you look in my eyes when I talk to you?" Which that is a good psychology trick when you're looking into someone's eyes. That's more persuasive. Good for her. I think Savannah is not afraid of conflict, and this was just really awkward.
yeah, it was really awkward because also being like, "Can you look into my eyes when you're clearly doing something else?" Like, no, I got keys to flip through here.
Yeah, I gotta look at the keys. And plus, MC's like, girl, you like literally just tried to steal this out from under me. Why would I want to work with you? And then Savannah is like, girl, yeah, I want to work with you. This is water under the bridge. The boys are way closer. We need a women's thing to happen. It was so great. It was so funny.
Yeah, it felt like, oh, I didn't get what I want, so now I'm just gonna pretend that I wanted you to be my ally instead of pretending we were on opposite sides.
Yeah. So good for both of them. Handle it very well. I think it's great. Savannah likes to make things awkward, not shying away from the awkward conversations here. And I do see it. A lot of people are like, okay, Savannah is very intense, and maybe that's why she's got a target on her back. I feel like if you're MC or Sage and you've like been in those situations with her, I'm like, okay, I can see it.
Yeah, I can definitely see it as well.
So we also see Savannah and Sage talking. Savannah is saying that them voting Shannon out was okay, and she realizes, hey, I need Sage and Joanne, even though we have had the prior beef, prior annoyances. I need them for numbers. And then we cut to Sage's confessional saying, Savannah just wants me as a number, doesn't really want me as a person, just the number here, which I was like, okay, this is a good read. People on the bottom are realizing that they're being used.
Yeah. And I always like it when people on the bottom know that they're on the bottom because then that creates some desperation. I'm just hoping that the people on the bottom will continue to play and not kind of do what some people on the bottom have done in the past, which is be like, it's just not the right time yet.
Retweet. Seems like next week, too, there's going to be a lot of drama between Savannah and Sage. Last week, we said Sage needed to find a new nemesis, and it seems like she's found one.
Yeah.
So I think next week that part will be interesting. I am intrigued just to see more of like, okay, did Savannah and Rizzo and Nate or one of the three of them rub Joanne and Sage the wrong way? Like, why do they want to flip on OG Red? Because technically you are on the bottom of like the 5 person, but you can just vote out a couple more yellows and then use the remainder yellows in order to like flip on them later. So I hope we see more of like why did they truly want to flip now.
Yeah, I would love to see that as well.
So other people think that Savannah and Rizzo's relationship is threatening, but they know that Rizzo has a hidden immunity idol, so they're like, okay, let's vote Nate out. I think this makes sense. It's a safe vote at merge. You want to be on the right side of the numbers at merge, so this makes sense. But I feel like not flushing Rizzo's idol here is bad.
Yeah, not flushing Rizzo's idol is bad. I just feel like in general you want idols flushed, which obviously, but then especially if someone's not on your side.
I agree. I think everyone here but Steven, since Steven knows that he's catching votes from the OG Reds, should want to vote out Rizzo and Savannah. Like, just try to make the big move, put your votes on one of the two of them. Like, you can't save both because you've only got one idol. But now, because Rizzo didn't play the idol this week, like, sure, you got Nate to go, but now next week, they've got a 1 in 2 chance of saving themselves. And that's way easier to just like, okay, I think I'm going home, so I'll play it on myself, Rizzo, or I feel like Savannah is going home, I'll play it on her. I could easily see now that Rizzo has this idol, next week they can save themselves and like become the underdogs and then try to get power again. Like they could theoretically make a comeback compared to if you got rid of his idol, then they're just sitting ducks next week.
Yeah, but I feel like even if the idol were to be gotten rid of, if it gets rehidden, then they would still have a chance. But then they obviously have to go find it, et cetera, et cetera. But like you said, it is much easier. They have a path forward now.
Yeah, and like plus Rizzo told Juwan that he's not thinking of playing the idol, and then Juwan told Steven that. So it's like, okay, if maybe you don't believe Juwan, or maybe you think Rizzo's lying to Juwan, there are those other factors, but like Steven knows that MC, and after Savannah sees MC, everyone maybe knows that MC has an idol. Were there other plans to maybe have MC play the idol on Steven? Because Juwan told Steven that all the Reds were voting for Steven. So theoretically, they know, unless they think Juwan is lying or someone else is lying. I feel like MC also could have maybe used the idol in a different way.
Yeah, I think MC definitely didn't use the idol in the best way possible, but I mean, props to her for at least trying to use it because I feel like a lot of people have idols that they end up not using ever because they go home with an idol in their pocket. So misusing an idol, I feel like, is better than not using an idol at all.
Yeah, so I feel like Steven also would know that the votes are probably coming his way because Yellow Sophie's safe, MC theoretically safe with the idol. It's between him and Christina. He even is like, okay, I'm way more threatening than Christina athletically. Cut to Christina breaking the hammock and falling on the floor. It's like the editors are doing her really dirty.
Especially because that's not even an athletic thing. Like the hammock falling is someone didn't tie it correctly.
Yeah. I feel like Christina could make final three though.
Yeah.
So we'll see because truly it is like, okay, why would we vote Christina out when you could vote like a Steven or MC, Yellow Sophie, anyone else out?
Yeah. Who knows?
So now that MC has played her idol, Sophie only knows about Rizzo's idol now. Sophie, like we know, has the knowledge is power advantage. I feel like maybe next week, if people are scared of the Rizzo Savannah idol play again, maybe they just try to vote Sophie out here. It's like, okay, we voted Nate out. That's a safe vote. Let's try to vote Blue Sophie out because they probably wouldn't play the idol on her. In that case, it'd be very interesting if she gets wind of it and then maybe steals Rizzo's idol, then plays it on herself. I think that'd be fascinating.
Yeah, I think that would be fascinating too. I just love all of the idol politics that can happen, especially with knowledge is power in play.
Especially because they're aligned together. We're like, oh, Sophie's in such a good spot. She knows where all of the idols are in MC's idol and Rizzo's idol. But now that MC doesn't have one anymore, it's like, if you steal Rizzo's idol, is he going to be pissed off at you? I think stealing MC's idol this week before she got up to play it would be a bad move because it is the first day of merge. Like stealing MC's idol would put a huge target on your back. So I wouldn't have stolen her idol this week. But yeah, like if everyone plays their idols, then your knowledge is power is useless.
For sure.
So that's another interesting wrinkle now that Sophie has still the same idol that she knew about before.
Yeah. But should have acted sooner.
So I wonder if Nate's team last week at the third tribe swap, or I guess second tribe swap, the third team total lost, like Nate would get voted out because it was Christina, Yellow, Sophie, Nate, and Alex. Maybe if Nate went home there, that doesn't bond Steven, Sage, Jawan so much because they didn't vote Shannon out. I thought that'd be like an interesting alternative universe.
I feel like there's so many interesting AUs for this season, especially with Jake having gotten medevaced, because I feel like that also like really put a spanner in the works.
True, because it's like Alex and Sophie are like maybe close-ish, but like maybe not. If Alex and Jake were there, they'd be actually tight, or if Sophie and Jake were there, they would also be actually aligned together. Like that would be interesting. Um, Nate also in the exit interview was saying maybe they should have thrown out Christina's name because Steven and Jawan became such good friends and bonded over their nerd stuff that maybe throwing Steven's name out led to Sage and Jawan flipping because they just created that alliance together.
For sure. And we should get some sort of universe traveling mechanism so that we can see all of the Survivor AUs.
So Nate is the first member of the jury, so that is exciting for him. He gets to watch everything now. I feel like Nate, when he was walking out, should have been like, everyone, I'm a Marvel producer and I'm rich. Or just
I
at
feel
some
like
reveal.
he could do that, like maybe when he's doing his whole jury speech, be like, I don't need this money, but tell me why you do, or something like that.
Yeah, because also in the exit interview, he was thinking like, maybe if he had mentioned it on the beach, like not just like when he's getting voted out, maybe he could have bonded with people more because he was saying it was very difficult to bond because a lot of his like life was a lie and like being changed. Like you can't talk a lot about your interesting stories out there. And similar to Mike White, like Jawan is a big Marvel fan. Like if you knew that you were on the same tribe or could potentially work with someone of Nate's caliber, like would you suck up to him more or not?
Yeah, but then also, like you said, you don't want to be dragged to the end because you are a rich guy who no one's going to vote for.
Hey, top 3 compared to 11th, I guess final 11. Maybe you'd be like, I want to continue doing the experience.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So I thought this was interesting, Nate going home because it's the first time Rizzo, Savannah, and Blue Sophie are on the wrong side of the vote. I think next week looks very fun. Seems like there's a lot of drama and people are really pissed off. So I feel like being on the wrong side of the vote for them seems to maybe light a fire under them and they're going to go really wild.
I think it's interesting because there's a bunch of stats about how being on the right side of the vote in the merge is really important to like your winner chances. And so I'm curious if any of them, like, what that says about people's winner chances this time around.
Yeah, no, it's basically like you need to be on the right side of the vote and like that correlates to winning the game most of the time. Adam Klein, when he was on the first season, really emphasized that he wanted to be on the right side of the votes because of that correlation, the stat that we're talking about. So yeah, a lot of people are like, I will do whatever it takes to be on the right side of the vote here.
Yeah, even if it means voting for someone you don't necessarily like. But it's just a correlation, it's not a causation. And there have been winners who have been on the wrong side of the vote at the merge. So just throwing that
Which
out there.
just in the universe, it does make sense because if you're on the right side of the vote at the merge, it probably means you're in some kind of majority alliance. So that means is going to translate to you winning the game compared to being in the minority at the merge. Most likely you're going to get voted out.
Yeah, most likely.
So now Alyssa and I are going to talk a little bit about spoilers for season 50. So if you don't want to listen to that, then you can X out of YouTube or this video now before we talk about some spoilers.
Okay, we've
Coolio.
given them enough time to exit out now. So we're assuming if you are still here, you want to hear spoilers.
So the spoilers for season 50 are that Savannah and Rizzo are the two people returning from 49 going on to 50, which I feel like knowing that these two are the two returnees sort of messes up watching this season.
Yeah, I feel like, again, kind of further spoilers, but people are speculating who the winner is based on the fact that there are already two winners on season 50, and kind of like you need a third winner so that the three tribes can each have a winner on their tribe, and kind of speculating on that. And I feel like Savannah definitely makes sense because, like we talked about earlier in this episode, like she really was going all out, making money moves. I feel like Rizzo, like, he hasn't done anything so far in the game to make me be like, oh yeah, that's why he's coming back, except for his whole like Rizgod thing. And I'm like, I really hope that he's not the person invited back from 49 because of his Riz God thing, because that's just like it's a one trick pony, and if I have to hear it again for another season, I'll be kind of annoyed unless there's like a good reason why he was invited back.
That's why I was like, okay, they're probably not going home this week when their name was being floated, because like, why would they get invited back just from like being a merge boot? I'm like, they haven't really done anything like so out of the ordinary to warrant being invited back, I felt like, which then it also leads me to think that they aren't going to be going home next week also. And then I'm like, okay, they probably should be doing something really big in order to be invited back. So that's the fascinating thing. I'm like, what big thing can they do? Do they now, as the underdogs, like somehow flip it with the idol and then become the upper dogs and then run and then go to win the game? Like something big has to happen now.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's always hard when there are like returning seasons right after a new season because you don't want these kinds of spoilers, but then even if they were never announced, people would still be wondering. I don't know. I really don't like that they announced who was going to be on 49 because now I feel like people are like trying to like figure out why these people deserve to be back on 50, and that's just not fun.
Yeah, so I feel like they have to go far, although it's like, okay, Michaela and Zeke didn't go and win the season and they're brought back for game changers, but I do feel like for 50, you've got to do something really like out of the ordinary because then it's like, why out of everyone right now, I was like, okay, Savannah seems like a good pick, like you said, but over Rizzo right now, I feel like Sage or even Blue Sophie would be good picks. Like they have done interesting stuff so far.
The thing is, I feel like people can be interesting, but no one has like a really strong personality yet, like the way Michaela definitely had a strong personality that you wanted to see come back. So I feel like they're interesting, but they're not fun. I don't know. That's not quite the word that I'm looking for, but they're not as animated as a lot of people who were like early merge or pre merge boots who get invited back.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what Rizzo and Savannah do that warrants them the call from Jeff to come back a few weeks later onto the season. I feel like if it is just something lackluster, like they do get voted out early merge, I was like, okay, that's a little bit less fun than if they did something really like so cool, like mind-breaking Survivor and get invited back.
Yeah, I also wonder if they just like earmarked like two of these spots are going to be full with people from season 49 and then maybe didn't realize that season 49 didn't have the like clout, I guess, to deserve having two people back.
And it seems like if it were earmarked, it has to be a man and a woman spot. But also, it was rumored that Marianne was the woman's spot. So it's like they had backups.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, guess we'll see. I feel like knowing who's coming back sort of taints the view of 49 because you sort of feel like these people aren't going. They definitely weren't getting voted out pre-merge to be invited back for 50. Now a little bit more risky business here, but yeah, I feel like knowing those two are coming back sort of makes watching it a little less fun.
Yeah, it definitely does. But maybe it'll be fun in a different way.
Yeah, so let us know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode. Were you surprised that Juwan and Sage flipped on their OG Reds? If you know about who's coming back for 50, what are your thoughts on knowing that information and then now watching season 49? Are you excited for next week? Seems like a lot of drama happening. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you